Daniel, I hate that you're having to join us today, but top 10 out of all the thousands of people that auditioned and were on the show this year, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay.
What were your thoughts as last night's show began?
I knew something was going to happen. I think I don't know. I thought I did good at my performance. It's just when the coaches, they've not criticized anyone all season, and then when they criticize you like in a negative light, you knew something was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It just, I had a bad feeling about it, and then once we got into the instant save, I knew I was going home before I sang, because all the coaches were saying put Nick through. You know what I'm saying? It's really, it's more about, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it did feel like that to me too. Plus, just being in the bottom two from the previous week, it's hard to get out of that hole when you find yourself there, and through no fault of your own.
Definitely. I mean, it's never exciting. And then also you have to learn the two songs. This week I wasn't feeling very good. I was pretty sick all week, and I was kind of losing my voice the entire week. So I tried to just give it my best performance, but it's okay. It really is.
Let's talk about more positive things. Back a few weeks ago, for the first time, they have this comeback idea. So, I mean, it was one of the most emotional, I think, experiences for us as fans on the show this year. Just talk about getting that call from Pharrell and hearing that you're going back to the show.
That was really exciting to know that I was going back to the show. I was disappointed when I first got off the show originally, just because of the way it went down. And Pharrell has talked about it a few times on the show, but they changed my pairing last second. Like during the knockout rounds, they changed my pairing last second. The night before, I was supposed to go against a completely different person, and then I was paired against Allison, and then a million things happened before that, and then there were no saves left, and then it was just that wasn't any fun. And then Pharrell called me, and I think it was just a blessing to be on his team, because he's always been true to me and nice to me. Last night he didn't really fight for me very hard, and on Monday night I didn't feel like he really kind of stood up for me that much when Christina was saying things. So it was really kind of a disappointing end to it all, because all three you had Pharrell, Adam, and Christina all vouching for Nick, and then when it got to Pharrell's turn to kind of vouch for me, he kind of just said, you've had a good run, and I don't know. It was kind of disappointing. I wish someone would have fought from, I don't know. It's okay.
Yeah, I totally understand. And then here we are, just a few hours later, really. But he's one of the best, producers in the world, a great artist. Talk about just how he helped you along the way.
Well, he's a great person, I think, in reality. And I think the biggest blessing from being a comeback artist and coming back to the show was understanding that everyone is going home. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm off the show this week, but in 2 weeks, everyone's off the show. So then there'll be a new season where, name me the 10th runner-up of season 7. You know what I mean? You can't do it anymore. It's like, so Pharrell, what I've really learned from this experience is Pharrell, he taught me, we always talked about like things in music. We really rarely talked about the song of the week. I would ask him questions about experiences he's had with artists, like things that he does. And there's actually a funny story. The head of our contestant department, during the middle of the commercial, we're supposed to be tweeting and all this stuff, and she's like, "You broke my heart. Like, you didn't send any tweets. You didn't do anything." Because in that moment when I was on stage with Pharrell, I was asking him how to make beats. Like, what should I start to do to, like, you know what I mean? It's like, this experience has been to gain something for my own self. You know what I mean? Not to, because even your guys' website, you guys are writing mean articles. Like, I don't know why. I just don't understand why people do that. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like so it is what it is.
Well, we're just responsible for top and bottom kind of stories and things like that. It certainly wasn't anything personal.
I mean, it was just, I thought it was kind of uncalled for, just the wording of things, and I think people don't understand what it's like to get in front of 15 million people and put yourself out there and be vulnerable and try to sing and try to do something, and the negative, like the article that you guys wrote and the reviews that you wrote, I don't think people really understand what it's like, and a more positive environment that would help everyone. You know what I mean? Because this show isn't about winning. It's not. It's about trying to elevate 20-year-old artists to doing this for the rest of their lives, And I made it a staple myself in this time here to not. Everyone has a sob story. You know, everyone has something that's really happened negative in their life that impacted them huge. And I decided to not use any of that in my story and have me be complete reflection of the talent that I have and the work ethic that I have. And I think it got lost in this reality show. And if I could have done it different, maybe I would, but it's okay.
Well, where do you want to go from here? Where do you want to take all of this experience and move forward?
I want to do pop music. I want to do, and I wish that would stress a little more on the show, but pop music, this has been completely new for me. I've studied classical music for the last 3 years in college, but before that I had no vocal experience. I had nothing. Every song that I did on that stage was brand new for me. I was slaving every single week to try to put those together, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult to have a product finished and then completely start from scratch. And people, that's another thing, like these negative things that everyone says in the media, and this isn't like performing, because you see the show, you guys don't see what goes on behind the stage, but all of these performers that are on the show, most of them are pre-taped, they're auto-tuned, they're all these things. So it's how can a young artist try to go forward in this music business when everything that everyone else is seeing that's professional is basically all fraudulent? You know what I mean? And everything we're doing is on stage and it's live, and it's but the majority of those other things are pre-recorded and they're processed through. So it's very difficult, and I just wish that, yeah, I wish people would just enjoy it as an art form and stop criticizing, because it's there's beauty in performance, and they're losing that, and that's why I wanted to study classical music in the beginning, to make sure I understood the roots of music. You know what I mean? So.
I understand. Well, speaking of behind the scenes, I always hear stories about, was there any particular song this season that you really tried to push for and they couldn't get the clearance, or it just wasn't approved?
No, the song that I really wanted to do, I would do it next week. I already got my song for next week, but it would be "You Raise Me Up" by Josh Groban. But no, the music department is there. The voice behind the scenes, they're phenomenal. They do a great job. They work hard for every single thing. Like it's really was such a great experience, the music section of it all.
And the one that you really get to think about forever is your audition song. How did you come up with that one as your choice?
Actually, they gave that to me. I didn't choose that at all, but I thought it was good, and I thought on the show I did a really good job of, if you take a track list of everything that I did on the show, none of it's really similar at all. We started with a very, very mainstream bubblegum pop song, then to do an Adele song, then to do a Motown song, then to do a moderately new "When I Was Your Man," then to go back to the 80s to do a Michael Jackson song, and then to go to the 80s but completely redo a famous 80s ballad, then to do a rock ballad. Like, those song lists, it was such a bizarre thing, and it just kept coming up time after time, and it was interesting. It was such a great experience.
Well, you've definitely showcased your range to all the different music people and music industry out there. Well, congratulations. I mean, top 10, and I know you're gonna move on and have a really successful life.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate this.
All right, have a good day.
You as well.